Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This week we're going to be doing the week 2 of the Great British Bake Off technical challenge. I hope you guys are keeping up to date with all the episodes for the Great British Bake Off. This week's actually the 3rd week. I'm actually filming all of these the week after, so they kind of have somewhat a week delay or 2 weeks delay, however you look at it. But anyway, I hope you guys are enjoying this series. We're on week 2. We've learned a lot on week 1. Red velvet cake went successfully, with the exception, well, it depends how you say it. I thought it went successfully. If you guys fancy watching my week 1 attempt, go click the link above me, or just click it after you finish this video. Now, this week is biscuit week. I love this week's episode. Absolutely fun to watch. Little bit of a downfall for me because I've never really baked biscuits. It's not something that my family genuinely like have in their household. We're more of a cake household. This might be a two kind of battling areas. Some people have cake, some people have biscuits. We don't have biscuits, we have cakes in this household. So this week I'm going to be attempting to make 12 perfect Garibaldi biscuits. The timing for this is 1 hour 45 minutes, so 15 minutes less than last week. Interestingly, a lot of the ingredients is not very, let's just say, attractive or something that appeals to me. I don't genuinely like currants, and I don't genuinely like dried cranberries in desserts or in any biscuit or cake form. I much prefer just eating cranberries, you know, dried cranberries on its own. But it is interesting. I have the ingredients and the instructions from week 2's episode, and it will all be down in the description below for you guys to try. Now, please get stuck in. It's actually genuinely fun. I thoroughly enjoyed last week's red velvet cake. Definitely something that, like, if you don't have any prior knowledge of baking or understanding baking, it can be quite difficult. Even I struggled with, you know, when to put ingredients in and what to use. This week, I felt like based on the show, it seemed quite straightforward, but I might be underestimating the difficultiness in this. Let's get on with it. The first instructions is to chop and soak fruits in orange juice. Now, that sounds delicious, I think. Let's start the timer and let's crack on. Timer, it's 1 hour and 45. 1 hour and 45. Let's go. Oh, this is like, I like this. Time pressure is really fun. I find that this is like the same with exams. You know what the weird thing is? It says chop and soak the fruits, which is perfectly fine. I have a feeling like these currants are so tiny. I don't know why. Like, I don't think they can get any tiny, like any smaller. They're absolutely tiny. Half, if not a third, of what raisin sizes are. So chopping them just seems a little bit like unnecessary. But I shall do what Peru does. So once I've chopped these and soak them in orange juice, the next part is make the dough and chill, which makes sense because obviously it contains butter. I do have one problem though. I don't know whether it's the whole egg. It says separate the eggs, but does that mean that you use it later? I feel like going on the basis of the knowledge of how like buttery and sort of yellow shortbreads are, because they're not really that white, I'm going with a more yolk, but it's only 1 egg. It's not a lot of yolk to me. 1 large egg separated, so I presume it's just the yolk. I don't know if you have to do like anything else. Do you use the egg whites or anything like that? I really want to go and say no. Lay the second rectangle on top, cut into 12 identical biscuits, bake and cool. It doesn't say to egg wash it though, so I say I don't want to jinx it, but I guess not. You don't have to egg wash it. Do you egg wash shortbread? It doesn't look shiny. We know that the egg is not for decoration because that's in the recipe. That's in the ingredient list. So that's common sense, she says. But I'm gonna try the technique of rubbing the butter into the flour and then adding the egg yolk in at the end. and then hopefully it forms a dough. It says to chill, no, it says to chill the dough. So we leave it in the fridge whilst we are draining the fruit and drying it. And then the other thing is to cut it into 12 identical biscuits. I'm not really sure how to do that without a ruler. Are you allowed rulers? Oh, I should have checked that. Maybe you're allowed rulers, that'd be cool. It currently looks like that. It's very pretty and kind of crumbly texture. I'm not sure how long I have to do this for. It hasn't formed a dough yet. It's quite powdery, so I think that's where the egg comes in. But out of curiosity, would this be better if I had done it with a blender? Like a KitchenAid mix? I was just thinking because it's quite hard to notice where the butter is, but then I guess you can overdo it. It's too dry to create a dough, so maybe that's where the egg comes through. Oh, this is weird. It's quite satisfying. Do you know what? This reminds me of the modelling sand. Like you can scrunch it up and create weird shapes with it. It's quite fun actually. You learn something every day. I bet this is the worst technique you should do. Okay, so interestingly, so the next part I'm actually doing is just chilling the dough, but one thing I really noticed is that the egg yolk combined everything so quickly. So I think I'm on the right process, I think. I'm not really too sure. I'm a little bit dazed about like what to do with I don't know, with the egg white. Maybe I'm not meant to use the whole thing. But anyway, this is how it turned out. It looks really nice. I don't know if there's a testing thingy. I think it was combined properly. No idea. I genuinely think I fucked up. But it looks like dough. The thing that I have a problem with the berries, because I just checked, is that it's not really soaking in much of the juice. So I don't know whether it should be plump and juicy or whether it was just to soften the berries. Then again, like in Asian cooking, the way we soften dried food is normally with hot water because it actually stimulates it to bloat. So I'm kind of worried, like why would using orange juice is not really effective. But obviously it might be just a flavour impact rather than like what I was thinking was just to bloat it. Also and then how much do I drain it? It says drain it and then dry it, so I don't know whether I should run it with a tea towel or something like that to drain it, or like a cheesecloth to really get the liquid out. I'll show you guys. It looks quite dry still and quite plump. Let's get this. Oh look, beauty talent. That tastes so good. I get it now. I know normally can't do this on show. Do you know what they taste like? They taste like, oh my god, yeah. So not specifically like just it alone, I'm pretty sure it goes together. And these biscuits that we're making reminds me of the Go Ahead biscuits that I used to get as primary school snacks and secondary school actually. Were the ones that you get like a couple in the packet and it's got sugar coating. Is that what we were making? Can't be. It wasn't ever that rich. Oh, okay, well, we'll only find out. I never got chocolate on them, so that'd be interesting. So this is the leftover juice that I got. Bottoms up. Oh, that's sugary. Oh. Have a bit of water with that. Oh, that's so sugary. You forget how much sugar there is in currants. Quah. Maybe another time. Okay, currently rolling the biscuit. I don't think I'm doing too bad for size. I think where I'm going wrong is I don't know if I mixed it properly or it's not rested properly. It almost feels like it's crumbling way too soon. I don't know whether that's just an inexperienced moment for it. Oh, I don't know what to do. It looks not so great. could make 6. Not 6. Yes, 12. I don't know how thin that is. Oh, it's so thin. Shit. I know this is not even a competition, but like, fucking hell. I don't know what to do. Oh yeah, I don't know what to do. Panic mode! Maybe I can save this. I have to save this. I have to be able to do this. I don't ever want to be on a show now that I think of it. Oh, fuck. Oh, yeah. Okay, let's try again. This must be dry. Don't have this time. Oh, it's just crumbling. Okay, I was too smug earlier. Clearly. Too smug. Way too smug. Okay. Way too smug. Okay guys, I think I really fucked up. The dough's way too dry. I don't know what I don't think it's dry because it is molding really well. But like, I don't know if it's chilled enough or like every time I roll it out it's literally crumbling. So I don't know if I've missed a step. It's just not holding. Look like how dry that is. So how long do I have? 44 minutes. You know what? Make the best out of the situation is what I'm gonna do. Okay, so I'm still in panic mode really, and I know I'm eating into the time. What time is it? 34 minutes. So, okay, so the oven's on now, and I'm gonna cut these into shape and then I'll shove them into the oven. I think about for 15 minutes, let them cool, and then decorate them. We don't have very much time, and I think I'll be able to get 6 out of this, which I'm quite pleased of. The only thing I'm not pleased with is the fact that I had to mix the fruit into the dough to give that moisture so it wouldn't crack. I don't know if that was a good idea or not. Honestly, I don't think I did it right, actually, now that I think of it. So now I'm in like the moment of like just like trying to make the best of it, and hopefully it still works, and then work from there. Well, let's go on to the chocolate bit. I think the chocolate bit is a bit more safe, and then obviously I need to stop talking, but I'm a little bit like, wow, I did think that these were quite hard, especially with such a lack amount of instructions, which makes it hard. But anyway, I've got a bread cutter, it's got a measuring so I can measure it, and then I'll use it against the rolling pin, and then we'll go from there. Let's crack on. Okay, so I don't know if I managed to salvage it or not, but I managed to make somewhat irregular Gary, what's it called? Gary? Gary. Yeah, I made some regular or irregular Garys. No, I made some 12, I made plus extra more. I made some extras as well, just in case of depending on how badly the dipping goes, but these are almost kind of regular. I know that it can be a bit scruffy, and I feel like the contestant did such a better job than I do. These will go in for about 10 to 15 minutes depending on how quick. They're very thin. I was thinking it can't be a heavy biscuits because it's quite sweet, so I was thinking going thinner. I may be wrong in that sense, but we will see. The fruit made it very challenging to cut, so that was really interesting. They look alright, they look consistent. I didn't know whether like they should be showing through or not, so I mean, I'm just interested. Maybe there's no right way of doing it, but then surely there's a reason why they've been judged, but who knows. I don't know if, I don't even think I did. I probably become like 12th. I should be the one going home because I just think that was such a really crappy attempt. Anyway, let's not bang on about the negatives. Let's try and make these the best that they possibly can, and then we'll move on to next week's challenge. The biscuits are currently in the oven. They're looking actually really good actually. They currently look like that, which I'm going to turn the heat off now because they're ready to go out, because they look really good. I'll show you. They've turned out better than I hoped. I'm still a little bit nervous as to whether I've done it wrong or not, so I'm going to leave it to cool on the rack and then move on with the next thing to do. Okay, so upon reflection, I'm not chuffed with the way it looks, and they're kind of a little bit irregular, but it's fine. I'm pretty sure they taste delicious once it's covered in chocolate. I mean, chocolate covers a number of sins. But the one thing I will say, I hadn't realised, or I hadn't taken into consideration, they cook pretty fast actually. It's 12 minutes, I think it's 12 to 15 minutes depending on how, obviously, like powerful your oven is, and because they're much thinner, much smaller, I think they're meant to be a little bit more chunky and a bit more longer, but these turned out really well. I've already melted the chocolate. You would have seen a little clip about that. So the chocolate is ready to go. I believe, based on the instructions, it says to dip it in the dark chocolate. Oh no, dip one side in the chocolate and then feather with the white chocolate. Now, I have a couple of definitions of what I think a feather is. I do believe it's, don't know if you ever did it with paint when you were in primary school, but you used to mix paint through by drawing like a pencil through it, or I don't know, like a scalpel, was something I did when I was at school. So I think that's what they mean, but I don't know if I meant to cover, I actually don't remember. I think it is one side of the biscuits, but it might be the whole side, so who knows. Also, something I found out something that I realized when creating these biscuits was that it was so difficult to cut it like perfectly, like in rectangle shape. So I am really impressed how the results came out for the contestants. That was really cool. Also, I'm allowed to eat my own biscuits, they can't. Huh? Yummy. They really do taste like the go-ahead biscuits, I'm not gonna lie. It's quite amusing. I'm gonna use, this is like a cake tester, like a meat tester, cake tester. So I'm gonna use this. I'm gonna draw the white chocolate streaks along it. I also have another thing, which is behind you. I have a bag that could create that creates that sort of like, what's it called, like that nice perfect line. I think I'm gonna pipe it on and see how it goes. I do need to let it cool. I have about just over 10 minutes or so of doing so. So let's get on with this and then we'll crack on with it. Okay, I'm gonna have to speed through this just because one, it's getting really late, and two, you probably can hear it, the hot water's boiling, which does mean it's dinner time. But I'm really chuffed at how it turned out. I know I didn't stick to the recipe all too much because obviously I had the moment where I had to fix the dryness of the dough, which may be a number of reasons. It could be I didn't chill it enough, maybe I didn't mix it thoroughly, whatever it is. Here they are, all 12 of them. I'm pretty chuffed with the way they turned out. I don't necessarily think this is probably my favourite biscuit, but what I do think is how amazing and how much you learn not knowing the technique or something, because you really do have to think on your feet. Now, I left this in the fridge for a couple of minutes and I had only a couple of minutes to spare to chill it so that I can serve it up, otherwise it's going to be very wet with the melted chocolate. The butterfly technique I think turned out right. I actually need to watch the video back to I need to watch the show back, the episode back, just to see if I did it okay. Probably not, probably going to be coming 12. I don't mind going home, but these, I'm really chuffed with them. But there you are. Look how pretty that is. Chocolate. Now I hope you guys try these at home. Try it with a limited instruction and see how you guys fare. Absolutely fun to do. And there's one thing I will say is I think I had spare time. I just panicked way too much and too often. I may not have gotten it on camera, especially when I'm getting the dough together, because for some reason I had so much difficulties with it. Obviously, send me some photos if you are going to try them out. And please feel free to DM me on Instagram or any other social media that you can find me on. And as always, I'm going to leave every recipe and ingredients and measurements down below, so feel free to check it out and try it yourself. I have so much respect for the contestants who do it under pressure. Obviously, I have no pressure. I'm going to eat these. Paul and Peru is not going to be able to see these, so thank God for that. I'll probably end up being last anyway. Now, I'm going to love you and leave you. Good luck with your own baking. Mwah.